Good morning, good morning, and good morning. Um, Welcome to Transformation Talks. It's me, Tanisha York Allen, also known as Asha. Just confirming that I'm checking in for Transformation Talks. Yes. Okay, so today's talk is all about standard processes. So I've been spending time in my container, Joy for Elevation, with my people, and we had a opening this week where we had a kickoff party. Which, if you didn't see it, you can go and find the kickoff party because I went live on Instagram too. You can go find it on Instagram. But what came out of the kickoff party was the conversation around SOPs. Well, back up. A conversation around visionaries and what it takes to be a visionary and what it takes to elevate, right, the way in which we show up in our businesses. And so what that got me thinking about for today's talk was standard operation processes for visionaries and what it takes to really embody the energy of becoming a visionary or a thought leader or a change leader. And so something that we talk about all the time in ops, what I used to love designing, was SOPs. Right? When everyone hears SOPs, they're like, yeah, standard operating procedure systems for their business. But very rarely do people consider SOPs for themselves. And in the work of transformational excellence and success, right? It's important to also consider your personal transformation and your personal standard process because everything that we do as leaders within our organizations trickles down to be mirrored somewhere within our organization. So I like to think that the way you start as a leader, the way you start as a change maker, the way you start as a visionary is how you finish. Because what you do with you is the habits and the things that get mirrored throughout the organization. It ends up becoming the thing that gets people engaged and keeps the employees coming and the clients coming. But again, it all starts with you. And so much of my time is spent with like upper six figure people, seven figure people, looking at their process, looking at how they show up as a leader. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Um, so the question I'm putting out to the ethers to you guys here is, when was the last time you looked at your personal standard process for showing up as a visionary, showing up in your business, showing up as a leader? When was the last time you considered it? And when was the last time you updated your process? Because something that also happens with us in business is that so many people will create a starting point that they never finish, right? That they never come back to, never reconsider, never update, never take the time to say, okay, how have I been doing? How have I been being? How have I been showing up? And so if you've never done that, that's good to know. And so if you've never considered how you're showing up on a regular basis, that is where you need to start. So what would be the standard process for your visionary change maker leadership lifestyle? What does it take to be you? And better yet, what does it take to be the next version of you, the most successful version of you? And that's what we want to talk about, and that's what we want to play with. Okay. So I want to also offer some like tips to try and figure this out so you can start to develop what I call them in my business, I call them soul strategies or your soul energetics. Hi. But in they call them different things in different places, but we're talking about your standard process. When was the last time you considered your process for showing up as yourself? Right? And if you can take everything that it takes, what does it even take to be you? So let's say you're at the income level, you make like a regular, I don't know, five figures, 10K months or something like that, or you have a career that pays you 100K. So you again bring home like 10K months, right? So your process that it takes to go to work, or your process that it takes to get online and do your business, that is your standard process, right? That is the sum total of everything that it takes for you to enact and show up in your vision now. Okay? Follow me. We're going to go somewhere, right? And so a lot of people are like, yeah, I want to like grow my business. I want to go to the next level. But they keep following the exact same process for what they're doing now. Okay? So let's bring it back a little bit. You have a process for being you. You have a process for showing up in your career. You have a process for showing up in your business. You have a process for showing up, right? And that process is designed to sustain you exactly where you are now. So if you have not looked at your process in a while, if you have not looked at your procedures in a while, you're kind of staying stagnant, which is like, what's the word? Antithesis? Antithesis? It's like the opposite of what you want to do as a visionary and a leader and a change maker. I didn't know my picture was crooked. Hold on. I got that in the Bahamas. It was crooked. Sorry, it bothered me. But you want to be able to say, okay, so this is what I do to sustain this. What do I need to do to sustain the next transformation and the next transformation and the next transformation? That is the conversation we're having today. So I want you to consider, okay, so when you think about your SOPs as a CEO, as a visionary, it doesn't matter if you have a business, it doesn't matter if you're at a job. When you think about yourself as enacting change in the world, participating in the elevation or the evolution of people, whether you're at work or you're at, navigating the university system or navigating like a business, it doesn't matter. If you see yourself as a visionary and a thought leader, how often do you consider how you're showing up? And then what is the roadmap? What is the next level of success? Not the linear level of success. Not, okay, well, in 6 months, I'm going to get a promotion, right? But what's the 10 times that, right? Is it, I am going to be VP? Is it, I'm going to, grow my business from 10K months to 100K months? What are you striving for? Right? And it's really important that you get really clear in any organization and transformational operations. You have to be really clear about what your goal is. Where is the vision? What do you see for yourself? What is the biggest and the highest you can go and see from right where you're standing? And that will tell you what about your individual standard processes as a leader needs to change. Okay? So, looking at your standard processes allows you an opportunity to shift your identity, to take very intentional measures to shift your identity over and over and over again. Because the thing that gets us to success, the thing that gets us to our next level, the things that burst us through our fears is the intentionality and the awareness. You are aware of what's happening and you are intentional about how you're happening or who you're being, right? And so when you think about that, again, what is your standard process? What are your things that you do when you wake up? So is it that you wake up in the morning and then you drink some coffee and then you clock in and then you check your email and that sustains you right now at your current level? Great. We know that. That's the process. My process for right now where I'm at is these things. Okay. When I know that and I say, okay, I'm looking to the future and I see myself doing 10 times more than this. I am not just going for the promotion, but I'm going for the VP job. I'm not just going for, 10K, but I'm going for 50K, right? When you say that and you see that, you have to look at what it took you to be where you are and then look at what you can change to be where you're going. So what type of person and what type of processes might someone who makes 50K need? What type of systems and what kind of processes would someone who is now the VP in 6 months need? Right? Would they wake up differently? Would they brush their teeth differently? Would they get dressed differently? Would they party hardy to like Lizzo or something for like 10 minutes every morning? Because they need that extra juice to like, what are you doing? What are you doing? But more so, how are you being in your day to day that says, I am on the roadmap to success in the way that I see it. Yeah. So we're talking about, again, reframing your identity. When it comes to enacting change, even within an organization, it all comes back to the identity. What is the vision? What is the mission? What are the values? What was the intent when this company, this person, when you were setting out on your path, what was the intention for it? And what do you see and why do you see that thing? Right? And then being able to say, okay, now I'm gonna roadmap because I see that this is like bigger than me, it's bigger than what I thought, it's so much more, and I'm going towards that. Look, running, I'm running towards that, right? And so in order to sustain that kind of transformation and growth, you have to be willing to compromise your identity, which means you have to be you have to be willing to compromise or look at or reevaluate and redesign the standard processes that you have in your life. So much of my time with people who, when I'm coming in to like consult and fix like things in their business, so much of my time is literally spent looking at what they do in their lives, right? Because how you are in one way is going to mirror the other way. So you want to be solid on your standard processes. Okay. So this is the last piece, and we're just gonna, bring it all home. I hope you guys are taking gems of this because, like, I didn't write this in any kind of order, but because I really wanted to make a point. Okay, so as you evolve, you must reconsider your decisions and habits and actions, right? You must consider them daily. And I did a reel. If you want to go on my social, you can find it. I did a quick little video that explained what this means about this identity piece. But you want to reconsider the decisions, the habits, and the actions because all the standard process, all the SOP is the habits, actions, and decisions needed to be made to complete an action or to get to a result in a business. That's all it is. An SOP is literally the documentation of the steps, the habits, the actions to complete a process. That's it. So when you think about you, what are the steps, the habits, the actions that it would take to complete your process of transformation or your process of elevation or your process of change or your process of enacting your vision in the world, in your business, in your career, in your life? You have to be willing to change it. So if I was to come into a warehouse, or I always use warehouses because that's so physical that people can automatically understand it, right? When we are scaling a warehouse to increase its capacity for more outputs or more receiving or more whatever, first you redesign the process, and then you redesign the standard process for enacting that change. So you literally go on the floor and you say, okay, what's the vision? Well, I envision it going like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we say, okay, so we're going to put it here. We're going to put these things here. And then we go and write it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we get to people and say, hey, people, this is the process, this is the vision that we had, and this is the process to get to that vision. Yes, it's different from what you were doing last week. But if we do this process over and over and over again as a group, we will get better at it. And if we do this process over and over and over again as a group, we will surpass our goals. And that's how you need to think about yourself, right? Alafiani, hi. So you have to want to think about that. So again, with you as a person, if you're saying that my vision is to impact the children of, like, I don't know, the children of the foster care system, shout out to Chrissy. If that's your vision, right? What do you need to change about the way you've been being so that you can embody that vision now? So you're going to say, okay, well, I give this much time to my business and I give this much time to like my things. But now I want to give a little bit more time to my things so that my business can run on its own. So you're going to say, okay, I'm going to change step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. And then what you're going to do is go and practice that every day, right? You're going to outline the process. You're going to say, it takes this to do step 1. It takes this to do step 2. It takes this to do step 3 and step 4 and step 4 and step 5. I just messed up the count, but you get what I'm saying. And then you have to go and practice that, right? Elevation doesn't just happen. It's not just, I mean, there are parts of it that are magical and soul fulfilling, and we can talk about that. I can talk about the magic of it. But I really want to talk about the practicality today because people understand practicality. That in order to evolve, you have to be willing to not only plan and intend and be aware of what you're calling in, but you have to be strategic about it. You have to be process based about it. You have to be open to, like, maxing that thing out and increasing your personal value over time and increasing your personal capacity over time. And that's how you get there. And the quicker that you can recognize that what you have been doing to get you where you are is not going to be the thing that you need to do to get you where you're going, the quicker you'll find that you'll have results because you'll have to show up bigger and bolder and more on purpose and more in truth and more in love and more and more and more. And so something that I always ask people is, my favorite question, how much more joy can you experience? Like, how much more joy can you allow? Which really what I'm saying is how much more transformation will you allow and where will you allow it? And who do you have to be? So I don't want to go like on and on and on because I could really talk about this forever. But I really just wanted to talk about this piece. Consider your standard processes for becoming and being the visionary that you see yourself as. Consider the standard processes that's going to take to get you to the next level. Not linear, but like the next level, the big one. And if you can make it a process to evaluate how you've been showing up and evaluate the way in which you're being and evaluate the way in which you would like to be to get to your vision, that's when you're onto something. And that is when you're ready to like call in a coach and a mentor, or you can start with someone where you learn how to do that. So yeah. And I hope this was helpful. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link. Joyful Elevation is open. This is what we talk about, the type of work that we do with visionaries, people who are in their careers, people who are, just expanding their capacity for more. And it is a transformational experience and it is a transformational journey. And so if you want some of this, join, right? Yourothermind.co, Joyful Elevation, right? That's where you go to learn how to challenge your identity to hit 10x growth. Like the money part comes, but it's the identity and the sustaining of who you are and holding on to that vision that you see. That's what gets you there. And it's a 12-month container. We meet in person all over the US, and it's going to be great. And so I hope this helps you. Let me know in the comments if you watched the replay, #replay, so I know that you watched it. Send me a DM if you have any questions. And I hope y'all are well. Be well, peace out, and all of that. See you next week.